Okay, good morning, everybody. We have our first weekly press conference of the week with our head coach. And coach, if we could have an opening statement, please.
Yeah, for men's volleyball, this is always the most exciting time of the year. The new year kicks off, but we also kick off our spring season. Unlike a lot of sports like the fall sports have a very quick ramp up. The nice thing about spring sports is you have a long ramp up, but you also have this very unique pause that we take through the month of December because we're not in our traditional season. So therefore we have to take a break for finals week, the week before finals, because we're not in competition. And then there's obviously the holidays. So you get all this prep in and then you kind of back off a little bit and you come back and it's a steep climb. So all that works for the most part in our favor because you still get the long ramp up. But I was pretty happy with what the guys did against Alberta. We played them on New Year's Eve, and we didn't have a whole lot of practice time. And usually what you're dealing with those first couple of practices, getting back up to game mode, the guys are dealing with a lot of aches and pains just from really ramping it back up again after taking a month off. So I thought the guys handled that well. We had a really nice week of practice last week, and then, of course, we get started this week on Friday and Saturday. So, excited to start the year. I like the group. I think we have quite a bit of depth and maturity, and I look forward to getting after it.
As the game has grown, the fans have been able to be introduced to some new programs from across the country. This year, the schedule boasts some of the usual familiar ranked opponents, as well as programs that our fans are a little less familiar with. What are you excited about schedule-wise for the 2024 season?
Well, I'm one of the coaches in men's volleyball that's constantly talking about growing our sport and expanding our tournament. And for that to happen, a lot of the longtime schools that have maybe a little bit more history and fan base and traditions need to make sure that these teams that are growing and adding, these conferences that are growing and adding, that we make sure that we're bringing them into the fold and we're showing their athletic departments that they're going to get on our schedules. We're going to come through their gyms. So the part of it is to grow the game. The other part is a lot of those teams that people haven't seen have had success within their own conferences. And obviously part of the NCAA selection criteria is to have a balanced schedule and try to holistically schedule and have other conferences. And so our schedule reflects every conference in men's volleyball.
The next one up is you have a few more seniors listed on the roster than last. Who stepped up into the leadership roles for this season, and how has that dynamic worked so far?
Yeah. Well, we talk all the time that, you don't have to be the best player on the team to lead, but we need leaders. And the beauty of our program is we try to lead by example, and we try to lead with leaders, not just one leader. So we have a nice leadership group that we call it, that we meet with. With our captains being Aiden and Mason and Simon. We have 3 captains this year. Our floor captain will be Aiden for the obvious reasons that a middle blocker and libero goes on and off the court so much. It's a little easier game management to have someone who's not coming on and off the court for the officials. But they've done a nice job. They've been through a lot with things, with the addition of Clark Godbold and Nathan Harlan and some of the other seniors that we have with Derek Owens and Eric Beebe. Maybe they hadn't been here as long, but they've been through some stuff. And what I mean by that is we're at the tail end of this COVID stuff, right? Guys that got yanked out of the dorms as a freshman and sent home, and then their life behind a laptop for a while, and then when are we going to get back? Are we going to get back? Restrictions, and I'm not in any way making fun of any of that stuff. What I'm saying is it's a reality. This is the group that lived through it, and they've been through a lot. And what I was super proud of is they came out of the pandemic and out of all the restrictions and all the shutdowns and all the things that happened against them, and we got right back into the national championship game last year, 2 years ago, and played in the Final Four last year. And this group has endured a lot and showed a lot of growth, maturity, not only mentally, but physicality. They've gotten bigger and they're stronger and they're more experienced, and they've been incredible role models for all the young guys we have in our program. So hopefully there'll be some benefit, some positive stuff that comes out of all the craziness that happened. But we'll really won't know that until we feel their impact on this group behind them of the lessons learned, and that's a big part of our program.
As with every year, there are some players who fill spots vacated from last year's team. Who are some of the faces the fans can expect to see more of this year?
Yeah. Well, probably right out of the gate, Skylar Varga got hurt last year in January and missed the entire season, and he was playing quite a bit for us at that time. And he's been slow to get back, but he's back and played real well against Alberta. I think Lazar Bushchev, one of our freshman middles, and Dearis McRaven and Ben Braun and Derek Owens are all doing a good job in the middle. I think Connor Bloom, who was a freshman for us last year, who was all freshman team and primarily a server, has had a really nice fall, as has Dane Hillis and Sebastian Rodriguez and Nato Dickinson. But in newer guys, as far as Daniil Hershkinovich is one of the opposites we have, has done a great job. And then some of the faces that we've seen that maybe in the past, but have a bigger role, like Nathan Harlan, was out with the fall with an injury, but has had a really, really nice couple of weeks here. So hopefully for us, the depth that we have will benefit us in lots of ways, right? We'll have more options if we're feeling it, especially in a sport where you play a lot of Friday, Saturday night games. Legs can be a little bit of a factor that second night. But also, what we think is the most important part is what it does for our training gym. So like I say every year to our fans and the entire LB Nation, we have open practices. Please come in. We're going to practice after. We're kind of in a unique spot. We're 2 to 5 until school starts, but when the official classes start at the end of January, we'll move into an 11 to 2 time spot. So if you want to come have lunch and watch us play, it's a great way to get to know the players and get to peek behind the curtain of what we do.
Coach, back in 2019, we hosted the national championship, ended up winning that national championship, had a lot of excitement throughout the year and a lot of home games. Similar situation with the schedule, a lot of home games, a lot of excitement coming into the year. Can you talk about just what it's meant to have the national championship here in the Walter Pyramid?
Yeah. Obviously, I think if we're talking about the 19 championship in that season, it was obviously a very special year to repeat as champs, but to do it in the Pyramid was really special for lots of reasons. Obviously, the first being that we were able to win the national championship, which is very, very difficult to do. But we're one of the very unique sports we have on this campus that could bring a national championship onto our campus. Obviously with women's volleyball playing a neutral site, men's basketball, Omaha for baseball, the opportunities are very rare that you could actually bring a national championship onto your campus and bring that to your community who may not be able or willing to travel very far to go see it. So for season ticket holders, long-time community members and supporters of our program, to sit in their actual season ticket seat in the venue they go to all year long, watch the home court team, the hometown team win the national championship in 19 was very, very special. But we try not to get too ahead of ourselves with this year. But yeah, of course, there's a lot of similarities to the schedule based on the fact that there's this pattern that's been in our sport for many, many years, and that is try to get to the site of the Final Four and play there once during the regular season if you can. So obviously everybody was trying to get on our schedule this year to play here. So we have a few more home games than normal, but exciting schedule for our fans and for the volleyball community and hopefully for our marketing and ticket office and everything that goes with those fun things.
Coach, you mentioned not getting too far ahead of yourself. So what do you want to see just from the 2 matches this weekend?
Yeah, what I really want to see is our discipline, our focus on our serve receive and our serve and block and defense of what we've been working on, and then the overall attention to detail of the core parts of our offense and defense, and taking it serious that we need to stack quality points over a long period of time and not get hung up on any other distractions, So I'm a big believer in this. I know a lot of times it sounds very canned and cliche, but these right now are the most important matches we can play because they're the only ones we have this week. So we might as well make the most of how we prep, how we train, how we play on Friday night, play better again on Saturday night, build that for the goals of the week on Monday, and start to repeat the cycle. It's very much the way I approach our team is very much like an NFL team would approach a week. There's certain days that are about prep. There's certain days about making sure we don't jump too much, like a no pad day for football. There's certain days that are going to be heavy. There's certain days that are going to be highly, highly competitive. And there's certain days that we want to be quick and efficient and off, and we want to get into the rhythm of a week, and take every single week as an opportunity to get 1 or 2% better. And if we have that approach all the way through the season, then we get to the end of the year, we look ourselves in the eye and say, the only thing that we can control is, are we the best team we're capable of being because at this time of the year? And have an attitude that we would even be better if we had 2 weeks more. But there is a time. There's a spot on the calendar that you have to be as good as you can be by this point. So can we be the best version of the 24 team late in the season with a lot of lessons learned, and not get caught up in being the 22, the 23, the 19, the 18, or even thinking ahead of what the potential is in this year, 25, 26. And I think our program does a pretty good job of that, and I think our guys do a pretty good job of avoiding the noise and staying in the moment. And it's a really, really enjoyable, fun, athletic group to coach.
Coach, anything else to add for this week?
No, just look forward to seeing everybody. It's always, like I said, it's exciting not only for the guys, but it's exciting to see all the faces that come back and all the support. And it'll even be more exciting to see the student section fill up in a couple of weeks. But come out, enjoy it. I think you'll like the group, and go Beach.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Awesome.